Yay, it's here. It's Valentine's Day. Not that that really matters. But I get to host PuckTime today because, Prez is probably on some vacation per usual. Must be nice. But I'm joined, as you guys know, I'm Kelly in Vegas, joined by Alex Smith, Andrew McInnis. This is going to be a fun, 20 minutes? Is that what we're aiming for here? 20 minutes talking hockey. As you guys all know, not a huge hockey girl. Alex has kind of got me on this first period train where me and my buddy Ben talk every single day now, and we're getting super excited, about just the first periods, and then I literally don't care about anything after that. So I'm really curious to see who you guys like today. As always, 7 days for $39, any capper on Sportsline NHL package. Use promo code PuckTime. Alex, we're going to start with you. Make sure you guys are giving Alex a follow on Twitter, by the way, AX Smith Sports on Twitter. Alex, Calgary versus Florida is going to be your first game. Flames, one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but they've been in a slump lately. Lost 4 of their last 5, and this Panther squad can't really figure them out. They're pretty inconsistent. Tell me who you like in this matchup.
I'm looking at Calgary here in this game. I mean, they're one of the better teams of Western Conference, and they're right now in the mix in that Pacific Division with San Jose right on their tail. You got Vegas that they're struggling a little bit, but they're still going to be in the race down the stretch here. Calgary needs to get a win here. They've lost 3 in a row, 4 of their last 5. Even though they've lost to good teams, they lost to San Jose, they lost to Tampa Bay, that was on the road. But they're playing a Florida team, like I said, the inconsistency has been there just all season. If their goaltending shows up, then there's no offense. The offense shows up, and the defense starts lagging behind. And we've seen Calgary play Florida well. They've won 5 of the last 6 meetings against the Panthers. And like I said, this is just a big spot here, and it's a cheap enough price, too. Calgary's been laying some huge prices, obviously winning a lot of games. But minus 130 here, I think this is a good bounce-back spot against a Florida team that's kind of reeling a little bit. Calgary has way more speed, way more talent. So I like the Flames here.
Awesome. All right, Andrew, I'm going to go to you. I know you have a 5% NHL West Coast versus East Coast game for sale using code VDAY. Customers get your 5% play half off. Andrew, your first game is going to be Winnipeg versus Colorado. Divisional matchup. Winnipeg hosting Colorado. The Jets lead the Central Division with 75 points, 4 ahead of Nashville. They picked up a couple back-to-back wins over Buffalo and the Rangers. Now they're facing this Colorado team that actually used to be my favorite NHL team way back in the day when I was a little kid. They've lost 8 in a row, 11 of their last 12 on the road. Is Winnipeg just going to blow them out of the water here?
Yeah, Kelly, first of all, good to be doing a video with you. First time working together. Of course, got to have puck time, staying alive. Prez is probably on a beach somewhere sipping on a beer. And
he is right, though. You have really great hair.
He always messes with me about it, so... But yeah, first of all, I think I look at this matchup here, and Alex and I did a little podcast with Drew Martin just about a few weeks ago, and this is during the All-Star break, Kelly, for the NHL, of course. And I really talked about Colorado being my fade team, being a team that I want to it's a really big sell team for me right now. The problem is with the Colorado Avalanche is they are far, far too top heavy. They rely on their top guys like McKinnon, like Landeskog, to do all the work for them. And as everybody knows, in a sport like hockey, you can't really do it as much. In basketball, you could have the big 3. You can have those, 1 or 2, 3 guys that carry the load. Not so much in hockey, and that's why I look at this number here, and we're not getting too bad of a price with the Winnipeg Jets. And looking at them in regulation as well, like we often recommend to do, you could get a great number here with the Winnipeg Jets. I mean, you look at them scoring 3.47 goals on the season so far, and this Colorado team, not only are they dropping games, like you mentioned, that massive losing streak, but they're getting scored on left and right here. I mean, especially their games on the road. They're 1-11 in their last 12 games on the road. Of course, we all know how well Winnipeg plays, of course, at home. And for me personally, just looking at this team, they went through a small slump. This Winnipeg team with their back on their horse. And of course, Colorado did play some tough teams, Kelly, but I think that they're just not a team that's going to match up well whatsoever against this Winnipeg team. And again, I talk about depth. Alex probably gets sick and tired of hearing me talk about it, but when you look at this team, I mean, this Winnipeg team doesn't just have a top line. They've got so many guys that, Connor, Little, so many guys, Wheeler, that can really get the job done. So for me, it's one of those games here where you look at it overall, it's just a big mismatch. Winnipeg needs to start gathering some consistency, and this is really the night they do it. So I'll look at Winnipeg on the money line, lay a little bit of a price here, but I also would recommend the regulation bet Kelly, I just don't think Colorado gets out of their slump tonight.
All right, awesome stuff. All right, guys, again, 7 days, $39 using promo code PuckTime. You can get any of the guys on Sports Memos Hockey Plays, $39 for the week. Alex, I'm going to go back to you. New Jersey at, well, both of our favorite teams, Chicago Blackhawks. I fell in love with this team circa, 2012. I said, you know what? This is my team. They like to win. And now the only win I basically have watched this year was the one I watched in person. But New Jersey headed to the Blackhawks. Hawks got absolutely embarrassed in Boston, snapped a 7-game win streak. Now they're taking on the Devils, who have lost 11 of the last 16. Tons of injuries. Miles Wood, Blake Coleman. And they have Corey Snyder in the net tonight, who is 0-6-2 on the season, 4.18 goals against and a save percentage of .68 in 9 starts. Gross. Listen, can the Hawks get a bounce back here? Alex, give me some good news.
Yeah, this is a perfect spot for the Hawks here to get a bounce back tonight against. Like I said, Corey Schneider's been the worst goalie in the league. It's just kind of sad to see him fall from grace the way he has. This is a guy who was putting up, he had goals against averages around 1.8, 1.9 year after year, putting in a ton of work for the Devils. And he actually got sent down to the AHL a few weeks ago to try and work things out. It doesn't seem like anything has really changed. So now you got the Hawks coming back at home. Like I said, had that win streak snapped in just an embarrassing game. And it wasn't so much that the defense was playing poorly, because we've been seeing their defense get better and better as we go on through the last 8-9 games. It was just the offense. They only had one shot, then they had to retreat back. They weren't passing the puck well, and that's the key for the Hawks. If they're passing the puck well in the neutral zone, passing the puck well during the power play, then they can get more offensive chances, more goals. Patrick Kane, of course, has been the best player in the world as usual. He's got this 15-game point streak going. I'm thinking he's going to keep that going tonight here. I'm looking at the Hawks in regulation. I'm not going to lay minus 160, 165. I think they take care of business within 60 minutes. I'm going to lay the minus $1.05 here with the Blackhawks at home tonight.
All right, and as always, you have on a hockey jersey. Does it say Vegas?
Yeah, this is the Vegas Wranglers.
Oh my God, I went to a Wranglers game when I first moved here. That's funny. I thought, I was like, wait, it looks red and black, but that doesn't make sense to say Vegas.
No, it's the one, and I have a Thunder jersey too that I usually wear, the Las Vegas Thunder. That's what the new team should have been called.
And for the record, to everybody that's out there watching, I had a little Skype call with Alex yesterday, and he was wearing a very nice polo golf shirt.
Yeah,
so he does own stuff besides jerseys.
That is really surprising, because I don't know if I've ever seen Alex in anything besides a hockey jersey.
Yeah, when I went in Vegas, I didn't wear a hockey jersey. And
I mean, it was 187, so you had to wear something that was short sleeve.
That's what I wear mostly in the summer, all my Sox jerseys.
That was the worst part about Vegas in May when they were in the finals, is it's so cold inside the arena, and it's like 114 outside, and you're just dripping with sweat. And you're just like, what do I wear? How do I prepare for this game? How do I even get inside without dying first? And you have a hoodie, and then you
carry your hocky jersey in, and as soon as you get to the door, that's when you put it on.
No, not as a woman, because I want to wear cutoff shorts and a tank top to the game because it's that hot outside. So it's like you have a whole outfit change.
I really don't feel bad for you having to wear a tank top to a hockey game. I mean,
yeah.
I'm excited right now here in Halifax, looking outside, and it's not snowing, and that's exciting for me. Looking outside, a blue sky. It's still freezing outside, but it's not. I don't know what it must be like for you to be able to step out every single day and going to a Vegas night game. Obviously, it's cool to have the atmosphere. Like, I understand, like Montreal, everyone's a big hockey market, but going to a hockey game in the nice weather must be pretty nice. I mean,
it's not exactly nice right now. It's like 50 degrees and raining, which is like. Oh. Really not my ideal kind of weather, but
50 above though, right? Not 50 below, 50 above.
Listen, you guys live in the frozen tundra. I have no idea why that was a good idea. It was like 8 degrees when I was back in Kansas, and I was like, somebody get me the hell out of here before I freeze to death. Bottom line, you choose to live there. You guys can both live in Vegas. Like I tell all of our cappers on Sports Memo, move to Vegas. Let's do this. We'll do videos in studio every single day. All right, Andrew, I'm going to go back to you. As I mentioned earlier, Andrew, West Coast versus East Coast game for sale using code VDAY. Customers get his 5% play half off. All right, let's go to St. Louis at Arizona. One of the hottest teams in the league, St. Louis Blues, headed to the desert to battle the Arizona Coyotes, who did just beat Vegas the other night. That was an ugly game to watch. Blues on an 8-game win streak, 11-3 since January 10th, but they do have some injury concerns. Arizona won 2 straight after losing 5 in a row. Where are you going with this one?
Well, you talked about Colorado, how they were kind of slumping, going through that massive losing streak. And you look at a team like St. Louis, who are for another team for me where I really wasn't liking them to start the year. They had so much talent that wasn't producing. And there's nothing really more that you hate to see than a team that you really projected to do well at the start of a season, and for them really not to be getting that job done. Especially they were favored by a lot. They were getting some really awful prices to start the year off. I feel like when things kind of settled down a little bit, when there was less pressure on those top guys for them, that's when they started to excel the most. And you look at them right now, 9-2 straight up in their last 11 when playing against Arizona on the road. And this is a team that they've really dominated. And I think that, again, it comes down to it, line for line, they're much better. But again, throughout this stretch that they've had, they've taken on Nashville twice, Tampa Bay, Florida, teams that are pretty good. So they've not only been taking care of things and putting up some goals, but against some pretty good teams as well. But I'm looking at the total in this one, so kind of going for one side and one total here this afternoon. And looking at it, I mean, total's gone over in 7 of the last 9 games when these two teams have met in Arizona, and pretty much every game is flying over in St. Louis. And they used to be pounding the under in every single game. And as you may know, Kelly, 6 has almost become the new normal for totals in the NHL. And so a lot of times we're still seeing 5.5 numbers here for the Blues, and it's making people scratch their heads. We saw they had a 5.5 as a total against the New Jersey Devils just back on the 12th, and they won 8-3. The total, all they had to do was get to 6, and they covered that number easily on their own. So to me, that makes me think, maybe the next game the Blues play, they're going to get a 6. Once again here against the Coyotes, they're laying a 5.5 total. And I know a 0.5 isn't really that much of a difference, but in this day and age, it is to me. And you look at Arizona, they're only averaging around 2.7 goals on the season per game, and that's rough. But, they just put up 5 goals against the Knights, who are known to be an actual under team. They have an excellent goaltender in Fleury. They put 3 goals up on Dallas, but they also do get scored on. I mean, Nashville scored 5 on them. San Jose scored 3, Dallas scored 5 on them. So they're a team that can allow goals as well. So, I mean, in summary, you mentioned there's a few injuries for the Blues, but this one at a 5.5 total, it's just far too tempting not to take it, especially with a good price that we're getting on it. This one should see some goals once again. And I did want to follow up a few things I left out from my last play there on Winnipeg. The Colorado Avalanche are 1-4 in the last 5 versus the Jets, but 0-5 in Winnipeg. So again, I mean, I know you do a lot of college stuff as well, Kelly. I know college, it's very important, that home advantage, but I feel like this spot here, especially for Winnipeg, settling in back home, it's a play I really like. So for me, my 2 picks kind of officially on this video are going to be the over in St. Louis, Arizona, and Winnipeg on the money line.
Real quick, Alex, your 2 official plays for the show?
Yeah, Blackhawks in regulation and Calgary money line minus $1.30.
All right, I don't have a mic to scream into, but I think I'm doing this right. Last minute of play.
Close enough. That'll work.
All right, Alex, we'll start with you.
All right, looking through, let's see, put the bullets up. Yeah, looking at the Islanders and the Blue Jackets. Islanders, I'm shocked that they're at a plus 122, plus 125 right now. It's one of the better teams in hockey. We've seen them go through a bit of a rough stretch, but they have a really good defense. This is a team that just plays solid hockey, playing a Columbus team that I'm expecting to go through some issues, especially because they're going to have to move Artemi Panarin. Where he goes, we're not sure, but when you get rid of arguably your top scorer and one of your best playmakers, things are going to be a bit rocky. So we've seen issues in the clubhouse with Columbus the last couple weeks. I think this is a good spot for the Islanders here, plus 122 tonight.
All right, Alex, now what do I do? Yell at Andrew to do last minute of play?
Right.
Andrew!
Andrew goes to the next.
I know, I'm terrible at this game. Andrew, last minute of play.
We're looking at Ottawa and Detroit now. We'll just go through the rotation orders here. And Ottawa, Detroit, I mean, as we know, Ottawa's been a team that is almost in the top in the league here for scoring, but yet they're so bottom in the standings. And I guess it just goes to show they also get scored on as well. I think that as far as Craig Anderson goes, he's also having a down year in nets for them, and that hasn't really helped them whatsoever. But their top guys like Duchesne and Stone are playing exceptional hockey. You can get over 6, and we've been seeing a lot of 6.5 with Ottawa recently, so a 6 is pretty good to see. Across the board, $1.20, $1.25. I think I can count on Detroit to put a few up for me. I'll go over 6 in Detroit, Ottawa.
All right, Alex, going down the list, then we'll go with the Dallas Stars at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning, huge chalk tonight, minus 190.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned about the first period total trend. You got the number one first period over team in Tampa Bay against the number one first period under team in Dallas. And when these two teams played, Tampa Bay, they played before in Dallas. Tampa had a ton of chances and could not get one goal in the first period. Dallas ended up scoring one, and it ended up being 2-1 Tampa final. I'm not even going to touch the first period here, even though you're getting a good price at over minus $1.30. Only way I would be looking here.
I'm betting the under. I already bet it. I'm going ballsy.
Okay.
I'm ballsy.
I'm actually gonna go with the game under at 6 because I mean obviously if you see low scoring in the first period, we have seen explosions in the last second and third but I just don't think that's gonna happen. Tampa Bay needs to play better defense right now. Dallas, in order for them to win any games, they have to play some defense. So I like under 6, and well, there you go. You like the under in the first period.
All right, Montreal Canadiens, Nashville Predators. Predators also some big chalk here. Minus 170. Andrew, your 1 minute selection.
1 minute. Okay, well, everyone knows that Montreal is my favorite team, and I'm not biased with it, but I always have to bring it up because, of course, we all know what happened with PK Subban a couple years ago, getting shipped off to Nashville, and he loves it there. He's settled in. He's a fan favorite over there now.
He dates Lindsey Vaughn. Yeah. I saw their video the other day. I'm like, wait, what? When did she dump Tiger? I missed it.
He's
like a couple years ago.
He's a lucky guy. But I mean, I think this sounds pretty repetitive to say this, Kelly. But again, we're seeing a 5.5 total. Montreal has often been talked about being an under team over the past several years, but they're flat out scoring right now. And I know Prez and Alex and everyone and their dog are gonna say to me, "Hey, look, this team doesn't have any all-stars. They don't have any standout players." But it doesn't matter. It's not one of those sports you got to have one or two guys. This team has 3 lines that can run, and so does Nashville. I mean, Nashville has so much center depth. They can absolutely crush you. They move the puck up the ice. I just think even with the great goaltending in this matchup, we'll still see a higher scoring game. So I'm going to avoid the side in this one, go with over 5.5.
All right, Alex, back to you. Toronto Maple Leafs, Golden Knights. Can the Golden Knights rebound after that ugly loss against Prez's favorite team? I got for my birthday, I get this really cool package from Canada. I'm like, yeah. And it's like all Toronto Maple Leaf stuff. And him and Mrs. Prez were like, you're going to be a Maple Leafs fan. I'm like, wait a minute. Now I'm not going to the game tonight. But that being said, Vegas Knights, $1.25 favorite. Kind of interesting line here.
Yeah, he actually tried to talk me into buying the Leafs. They had a camouflage jersey. He ended up getting one himself. So yeah, he's trying to convert everybody to being Leafs fans. That's not going to work with me though. But yeah, this game would be interesting. You got a Toronto team that's been playing well. They've won 5 of their last 6 games against a Vegas team that has just been kind of free falling. Had that horrible road trip, and they're regressing back to what they were at the beginning of the year. They were a team that could not score. That was just relying on Fleury making a ton of saves, but not playing a lot of solid team defense, not hitting a whole lot. And they're going to have to try to slow this Toronto team down. I would look at this game going under the total. I have a play on the side, but you got to get that over at Sports Memo. But I'm also looking at this total. We're seeing a 6.5. I think that's a bit low. Vegas is, as Andrew mentioned earlier, they are a team that kind of trends to the under. We've seen Toronto. They have exploded for goals at times, but they start off slow. And when they get a lead, they know how to hold on to it, and they can play good enough in the neutral zone, good enough defense to hold things down. So if they get a 2-goal lead early, I could see this maybe being a 3-1 game. So I like the under here with Vegas and Toronto.
All right, Andrew, back to you. Washington Capitals, San Jose Sharks. Lots of big chalk on the card tonight. San Jose, $1.70 favorite here.
I look at this one and I see that San Jose right now has been having a lot more success at home. And I think Washington right now is kind of in the same boat, and they're traveling to San Jose. But again, you look at this number and it surprises me. Why are the Sharks such favorites against a team like Washington that can really put up 5, 6, 7 goals in a split of a second on you? I think that, again, you look at this number here, Washington on the road. They come into a team like San Jose that's heavily reliant on their defense, heavily reliant on their goaltending on a nightly basis. I look at an excellent plus price here, Kelly. Take a stab with the Capitals. I mean, they did so well last year for a reason. They've got the All-Stars, the snipers for it. And San Jose, surprisingly enough, with the great defense that they have, they take a lot of penalties in their own end, and that Capitals power play is dangerous. So I'm going to take a shot here with the dog.
All right, I like it. Underdogs cashing outright. Last but not least, Alex, we'll go back to you. The Canucks going to the Kings. Kings, $1.50 favorite in this one. This one's kind of interesting to me because I'm not that sold on the Kings this year not to be laying at least $1.50 with them.
No, yeah, and rightfully so. The Kings have been absolutely atrocious all year. They're playing a Vancouver team that has been kind of struggling a little bit as of late, but mainly because they're having goaltending issues. Jacob Markstrom, their starting goalie, played last night and did well. Only allowed 1 goal to 1-0 loss, but he was playing with back spasms, and he was out. They had to bring up another call-up in their game, and they lost 7-2 to San Jose. Now they have a guy, Marek Manzanek, who was in Nashville's organization for years and didn't really put up much of anything there. I think he was kind of around the New York Rangers for a little bit as well in the AHL. He got called up, so he'll start in this game tonight. Vancouver's just struggling right now. They're a team that I can't really back, but LA is a team that I've had issues backing all year long. Vancouver's also 1-6 last 7 games on the road. I think we see this one go under, but I'm actually going to be looking at something different here. I'm going to look at the team total. I'm looking over 2.5 goals with Vancouver. I think for them to win, they have to start scoring a little bit, and I think the Kings, like I said, their defense has been a little susceptible at times. So minus 115, I think we can see the Canucks get at least 3 goals here.
Awesome. And we're right at the 20-minute mark. See, this is like way easier than when I do videos with Prez, when I'm like, Prez, has to be 30 minutes, like 49 minutes later. So awesome stuff by both guys. Any last words from either of you?
No, I mean, like I said, we got plays up at Sports Memo. Andrew's got his 5-star play up. I got a 4-star play there. You like I said, use the promo code PuckTime. Get either one of us, or you can get Dave Koken, Carm, Prez, 7 days of plays for just $39. That's a hell of a deal.
Awesome. And Andrew has his Valentine's Day special. Get his 5% NHL play, East Coast versus West Coast game using promo code VDAY. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Hopefully, I just took Prez's job.
Maybe.
Thanks, guys. See you.
See you.